Well, picked up yet another small block Chevy 350. So this one I got particularly because I have big plans for it. This will be my guinea pig for an upcoming series that I'm going to be doing, which I will reveal when we get to it. I don't want to spoil it now, but I think it's going to be pretty popular. I think everybody's going to really like it. It's a hit with myself. I thought about it and I thought it was a great idea. So other people have definitely got to like it. But so picked up this old junker for $100. It was 150, but then as the guy was loading it up, he noticed this big old crack. Someone probably left it with water over the winter and it froze. Push this out. So I'm going to look at it, see how bad it is, see if I can't just JB weld it, because I'm not going to be putting pressure on the cooling system, which is what I believe that is just the wall that separates from the cylinders, the cooling jackets. So what I'll do is just clean the hell out of it and JB weld it, RTV, something, because I will be running this engine, but most of the time the idea anyway is to just stick a garden hose in the filler neck and then have it pour out of the water pump to where water's just constantly cycling through it. So as long as it's just not constantly pouring into the oil, it should be fine. It's not going to have pressure where it's going to blow through RTV or whatever. It just needs to be sealed. So it should work for that. If not, I have another 350 block right there that needed a crank and one rod because it had a rod knock. But it's another old block like this one. So I don't know if I'll just switch over all the guts into that one over there or what we're going to do. But either way, this is the plan. We're going to take this thing apart. I'm going to get it to run, and then after we make sure it's a good, decent runner, that it will run, then we'll get into the new idea that I've come up with. So I'm just going to start tearing into this thing and see how it is. So join me, won't you? Okay, so I've noticed one thing already other than that little rod, that this side, when I was touching the push rods, this one is not attached. So the rocker is either off. Oops. The rocker is either off or missing. Okay, it's just off. So that's good. It's a good start. Okay, we're all there, so that's good. All the head bolts and everything are on, so that's a good sign. Ooh, yeah, it's been on for a while too. That bent, is it? Perfect. All right. First things first, you got to hot tank your engine. Oh, look at the soup that's in the oil pan. It's so thick. Put my finger in it, and it hardly transfers. Look at that. Because it's so sluggish. Ooey. Make sure you clean that out. And don't forget to power wash the inside of the engine too. No, this isn't a joke. I'm going to run this engine in like 20 minutes. A few more quick indications that this thing did in fact freeze, and that's what cracked the block. If you look at this freeze plug here, it is now convex instead of concave like these. Instead of being dented in, there it is dented out. And this freeze plug is just missing. They also took these drain plugs out probably in hopes to see. This one's completely plugged until I blasted it with the power washer, but there's no plugs, probably because they thought, oh, I'm going to try to fix it. But yeah, don't leave water in your blocks. Well, there it is. Cracked block fixed. That thing will never leak again no matter what. Okay, just kidding. It would most likely leak again. But Like I said, I'm not going to put pressure on the water system. I'll just run a garden hose through it so it never tries to blow out of there. And we'll be taking the intake on and off a lot anyway, so we'll be able to check in on it. But yep, got it all cleaned off. Got the hole plug. Got new gaskets on there. New oil pan gasket. Got the oil pan undented now for the most part. Got the freeze plugs popped in. That one was also bad. I bought two, one extra. At least I thought it was extra. I needed both for the other side because they're corroded. That one was rusted through, so I patched that one up with RTV too, and got some drain plugs plugged in. Got to get the spark plugs in. Get the intake slapped on now, and get it up in the air. Get the flex plate on, and then the starter, and then we'll be able to crank it over. Get any additional water out of the cylinders from the hot tanking process. Hot tanking, and yeah, get the intake and carb on and get it fired up. Well, running in 20 minutes ain't gonna happen now, and I'm gonna be closer to an hour or two. See that? I'm sitting here trying to set all the valves, and I noticed this one's barely coming up. Barely coming up. All the other ones are coming up pretty good. This one's like whoop. Check it out. Wiped cam lobe in lifter. Dadgummit. Well, good thing I got an extra. All right. Well, frickin' stuff's flying off the handle with this quick project. Went from it's running in 20 minutes after I power washed it to couldn't get it to run. Kept farting around with it. Figured it's just because I'm tired. I'll come back at it tomorrow with a fresh mind. Do a compression check, and I got 90 psi, 30 psi, 20 psi, 90 psi, 100 psi. So something's going on here. I got stuck rings. I already checked all the valves. No valves were sticking. All the valve train was good. Something's up with the cylinders, the pistons, something like that. So head gasket. So let's take a look here. Figure out what is going on. I didn't want to have to take it this far. I figured, I'll just be able to slap this bad boy together, get it to run, and do what I need to. But all right, so these look good. The only moisture I'm sure is from when I power washed it, but saw this surface rust, little ring ridge. But I would say all looks good. Let's turn that over real quick though. See what that's all about. I think that was a low PSI one. A little gunk, but nothing I'm seeing where it's like the cylinders crappy, unless, like I said, the rings are stuck. So we might have to pop them out and see. Ooh, look at that. Lots of flow coming through there. So, ooh, wow. I have never seen a paper thin gasket on an old small block like this. I mean, that thing is a sheet of aluminum. It's a sheet of steel, but whatever. I've seen MLS gaskets, but not on old iron head stuff. So that's really weird that that's so thin. I wonder why someone changed and put these on. Try to get more compression? I don't know. But it all looks good. I'm seeing a little corrosion on there. Nothing that's going from cylinder to cylinder or anything of that such nature. Just looks old and junky. Huh. Well, on to the next one. All right. Now this side. All right. Let's see. Nothing that looks like it shouldn't run, so I bet. Sticking rings. There's a little bit of carbon poop. All look the same. Little ring ridge, but I don't know. Hone it or actually do some researching. I really don't want to take this thing apart. I've already had to do it. Don't want to do it again. Already had the oil pan off, and I don't want to waste the gasket. All looks good. All looks like it was sealing. I'm not seeing it burnt between cylinders. It's crazy. These cylinders had to have been decked or something. Maybe that's what these numbers stamped here mean. Like this thing, maybe this thing was rebuilt. Oh, I am seeing stampings on these pistons. Yep, they got a big 10. So this thing was rebuilt. I could already tell somebody had been in it before just based on some of the gaskets, like the exhaust manifolds had Velcro gaskets, and the intake gaskets were something similar too. So I could tell somebody had been in it before, but didn't know how far. But it looks like this thing has been already rebuilt and punched out 10,000s, because those pistons have a big 10 stamped on them. It's probably, like I said, what all this stuff means. So probably have to tear it all the way down, check bearings, check everything. Unfortunately, and we found it. Yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like one piece. So that's causing bad compression on that one. Let's see what else we can find. So the whole dang thing, the wheels are falling off the wagon in this project. So turns out that it's got multiple broken rings. So this is where we're at. Look, this first ring on multiple cylinders is busted. I took a video to show. Look at that, just broken right in half. So I pulled all the cylinders, honed the cylinders. As you can see, they're all pretty clean now, still with a little bit of ring ridge. I don't care. The purpose isn't to get this thing to run forever. Just run for some. It's only going to run on an engine stand for the rest of its life. I guarantee it, because of this. It's only going to be my engine stand runner for a project I'm doing. Anyway, so this thing was rebuilt. I found out it's, look, if you see, it says 1-0 on all these 10. So they're stamped. Actually, I think those are just thin, but it's punched out. It's been rebored. It's got the rod bearings are 5,000s bored over. It had all. It's been rebuilt at some point. Anyway, I got it cleaned up, putting fresh head gaskets on, honed the cylinders, replaced the broken rings. Trying again. Got it all put back together, and yet it still won't run. I've done this. I couldn't tell you how many times. Got small block Chevys running on the stand. This one will not run, and I'm this freaking close to just taking it out back and doing a Jesse James and just shooting it with a machine gun. So, doggy, man, I'll tell you what. I've never had so much trouble getting a 350 Chevy to run, or a small block Chevy in general, any kind of Chevy. This thing has kicked my butt. So, I don't know how much I described already, but this thing has been apart and put back together 3 times now or something like that. So started off, I was whistling the thing together, cleaning it up, getting it put back together. And I mean, I went through, replaced gaskets, and was checking bearings and things like that. Replaced the oil pan gasket, and was putting it together, trying to get it all set up. Go to put the intake on, and I'm just checking the lashing the valves and stuff. And I noticed there's a wiped out cam lobe, so I take all of the front stuff off, the pulleys and all that. Pull the cam out of that 350 that had a rod knock, but it's the same era, so I figured, it'll be good. Put it in here, and when I do, this timing set has 3 different options to put it on. I put it on the wrong one. I start turning it over, and I was blaming the last guy. They're going, the idiot put too much cam in there when they rebuilt it. Well, I did it. I put it on the wrong tooth, and the intake valves on the other sets of heads that I had on there were all hitting the pistons, and it bent the valves, and it was causing it to not have any compression. So all these have, you can see witness marks here where it was hitting the valves. All these intake valves right there, see the lines? Yep, that's where it's hitting the pistons. So I pulled the heads, swapped the heads, put them on, and then it still has bad compression. I go through and have to tap all the valves with a rubber mallet and get them to open, put some oil in there, get them to break the crud loose from them sitting around on that old crappy engine over there. Get it put back together. Okay? Get the thing whistled back together, and then that was when I discovered the timing issue, because I'm getting it to fire, and I'm like, all right, now I got great compression. I'm between, lowest was 90, the highest is about 115, which is fine for a used piece of crap engine. Oh, I forgot. Also, when I first took it apart, when I wasn't getting compression, pulled the pistons, and I had 3 broken rings, the first rings, and I think I'll show it I'll show a little clip of it, but it was because the top piston rings, I think, are too loose in there. They're going like this, but that's the size that I had. I replaced them, put them back. Who knows how long it'll last? I don't care. This thing isn't going to be running in a car ever, as far as I know. I will never put it in a car, I guarantee you that. And I don't plan on selling it either, so there's that. Anyway, yeah, that. And then, so I replaced the rings, put it all back together. Use the old bearings that are totally wiped out. Shouldn't have, no one in their right mind would ever do that. But again, I'm not running this engine very long. You know, I put really thick oil in it, like 1550 or 1540, something like that. 1540. Tractor Supply oil, the best stuff in the world for the money. Anyway, cheapest stuff anyway. Get it put back together. Man, these headers were fighting me. I had to use 2 different sets of headers. I originally had them, which are block huggers for Tri-5 Chevys. Normally I run those. For whatever reason, it was hard as hell to get these to run on here. So even these, you can see that I have them wired out of the way so they don't touch. And then what else? Oh yeah, and then I broke a stud in the other heads anyway. So then I had to use these. Swap the valve covers because the valve covers were bent and leaking. I had those set, and so I swapped for these. These look cooler anyway. I like Edelbrock ones because it was pouring oil out of the last time. I mean, it was just everything. Then the distributor, I couldn't get the distributor to go out far enough. So I take it apart and pull the vacuum advance can off because I don't need it anyway for sitting. I never use them anyway, but I had to pull that off so that I have enough rotation instead of having to pull the carb and change it and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, there's a bolt I didn't tighten. Yeah, so the intake's been on and off 3 freaking times, and the bottom end's been apart 3. The heads have been off twice now. I mean, but now it's got good head gaskets, you know, which was kind of what I planned on doing anyway, which is a good thing I did because those MLS ones were, except they weren't multi-layer, they were actually just 1-layer steel, which I've never seen on a small block before. But it has been rebuilt. So, oh man, there's just all kinds of crap. So I got the timing figured out, figured out the right timing, got it on there, got it all set. Fixed the actual timing with the distributor and everything. Got some fuel in it, and it just farted. So I'll be warned, it's not like this will be the first run. I didn't get it to run, but I got it to fart. So I'm going to set you up here, get my earplugs, and we will see it run, actually, other than just a fart, together. So let me get this set up. Love the new lighting in the shop, too. Makes it look excellent in here. Got some new LED lights from eBay. Actually, I've had in the basement for about 3 years now. Since I moved in, I was going to put them in my other garage and only ended up using one for a workbench in my basement. And they've just been sitting around, and I needed them in here. So, yeah, this is what it normally looks like. And this is with the new lights. Boom. Boom. Yeah, way better. Anyway, let me get my ears on. Where are they at? There they are. Fuel pump's already running. Let's make sure it's not flooding. Yep. Let's get this bad baby sparking. Here we go. Fire in the hole. Okay. Turn this up a little bit. Yeah. Ready? Getting fuel. Okay. Try this again. Now if there's gasoline all over my battery where everything's going to spark and ignite. There we go. Safety third. Okay. Fuel. There we go. Okay. Put this back on for looks. Alright, so this 20-minute project. That's what happened. That's what I get for jinxing it. I said, this will run in 20 minutes. I had this run in 20 minutes. More like 48 hours. Ready? And fire. That's the way. I like it. There we go. We did it. I did it. Peace out. All right, while she's sitting there burning off all the oil that's been spilled all over it over the last couple days getting this thing working. So, now that I know it runs good. It's got good, decent enough oil pressure to run and not just self-detonate. I'm going to be, this will be an upcoming project. All the video will be posted real soon after this one, because now that it's together, I'm going to yet again take off the top end and we'll do something, and I think it's going to be a big hit. I guess you guys will see that shortly. I'll reveal that to you when I do, but or when I get it done. So, but as for now, it is finally done. The easiest thing in the world. I made the hardest task in the world by idiocy. So, it's done though. And I will get started almost right away, depending on what time it is today. It is 8 o'clock. I might start it tonight. So maybe we'll have it done and going tomorrow. But join me for the ride, because it's going to be pretty exciting, actually. Pretty funny, pretty comical. Okay, so there we go. Smoky. Isn't that beautiful?